Welcome everyone to the TruExact Show. I'm here with Eric and Brian, of course, and I'm joined here by one of my friends I met 4 years ago out in Team Backpack in Brooklyn. He lives out in Colorado, though. Martyr Thompson, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well, staying safe during all this quarantine. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Thank you for having me.
So, little backstory of how me and Martyr met. Team Backpack 2016, Brooklyn. Mission Underground, I believe Ren Thomas won that. We were like the first two in line during the first day where it was like 100 degrees out, I remember. And, if anyone's ever done these things or been to them, you kind of get into cliques, little groups, and you just mesh with certain people there. I mean, you don't know anyone. You were from Colorado. I was from New Jersey. PJ North was from Tennessee. We met a couple people from Guam and, all over the fucking place. So we just started talking and rapping, doing ciphers outside, and we just kind of clicked, became friends, kept in touch the last 4 years, even though we disagree a little bit politically. That's another thing. But we realized, it didn't matter. We're still friends. We've kept in touch. I bought his albums. I've followed his music. I know you signed a little deal, so I'm really happy. But let's get to how you got started in hip hop first, and we'll move into that stuff, man.
Yeah. So rapping, goddamn, it was like I had to be like 9 or 10, man, and I would just hang out with dudes who would throw on instrumentals at church or like after church. I grew up in church, so like people would play instrumentals, but they weren't on some like church raps. These were like the bad kids at church. So like all the hellish kids that like did not give a fuck about service were like outside by a car freestyling after church. So I started hanging out with some of those guys, and like they were a lot older than I was. I was probably like 9 or 10, but would like hear them freestyle. And one day I was at church. I remember I was like 11, and they were playing, and it's like a funny beat. Like they were playing the "End Together" by Limp Bizkit and Method Man instrumental. It's a fire ass beat. So he was like, "Yo, try it," and then I was awful at it, and I was like, basically like, I'm gonna try to like figure this shit out, and like started. I always grew up listening to hip hop, so like my dad. He put me on to like Biggie and Tupac when I was real young. So I'd always grown up on it, but just like being an MC, did not pay too much attention to like that until I was like 11 and 12. And I remember being, about 10 or 11. So like in 5th grade, I got in trouble in 5th grade because my teacher found a rap that I had wrote in my desk. And this was like on some money, bitches, hoes, pussy, all this crazy shit that a 5th grader shouldn't be writing down. Like she gave it to my sister, who was my guardian at the time, and they were like, "Yo, you need to like maybe we need to like talk to him about this." They had to talk with me, and I was just like, "It's just me writing what I hear in the music." And then I ended up like not really doing shit else, like kind of just freestyling here and there throughout the years. But then when I was in juvie from like ages 14 to 16. I kind of just picked it up and was like trying to be an MC because I had other people in there that could rap that were whack as fuck. And I was like, I'm at least better than them. I keep doing this shit. So we would like record on like cassette tapes with like using like the headphones as a microphone because it would like get the reception through that little headphone jack. So doing shit like that and basically recording over cassette tapes that already had shit on them. And then man, when I got out of juvie, I went to high school. So I was like from my 8th grade year until I was a sophomore, I was locked up. Then I went to my junior year of high school, and it was just like culture shock. But I was like, all I had seen is movies, and I was like, yo, like, there's got to be a way to like be known in school. Like, I got to do some shit. Like, I'm not going to go to school and just like be a fucking loser, and people be like, yo, that's the kid that came out of juvie, this, that. So I was like, I could rap now. I'll rap at some shit. So they have this big football game. It's called the Bell Game, and it's like historically the biggest rivalry for high school football west of the Mississippi. And it's like 100-year rivalry between these two high schools. So every year they have a big-ass football game. I actually live across the street from the stadium that they do it at. They have big-ass pep rallies at the school for these assemblies for that game. So my junior year, I figured out a way to like find out who was in student council. So that I was like, I'm gonna write a rap about this football game if y'all let me in. Now, granted, I did not look like a rapper, so I also played drums, and I was into like fucking basically like metal music. So I got dubbed the emo kid because I had the long hair, wore skinny jeans, and wore like band like print T-shirts from Hot Topic. So I fit like the bill. But all my friends were Crips and Bloods and like essays and shit in high school, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck are you wearing?" Constantly.
Did you have?
But
Did
I
you
was
have one sec, Martyr? Did you have Janko jeans?
no, I didn't. I
Okay.
did have Janko jeans, but as a kid, yo, that's
Alright.
like you're thinking more like the trap pants, like the
Right.
Juggalos wear and shit.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't on that shit. I wasn't that Hot Topic, but I wore like I'm a skinny guy, so like I always wore slim pants. So like everyone's like skinny jeans, like I wore skinny jeans and all that shit. And anyway, like I did that assembly, and there was like 1,200 people there, so it was a big fucking assembly for a small town that I'm in. And I did it to the Till I Collapse beat by M, and like had like this whole rap that I wrote for it. And I remember going out and then being like, "He's gonna fucking suck," and just hearing that shit in the crowd because like people don't give a fuck where I'm from. Like people are assholes with that, so they're
You
talking
got
shit
booed before you even went?
before the mic was
Gonna
on.
suck.
Yeah, I heard people be like, "Yo, fuck that emo! Don't let him rap! Like, what the fuck is going on?" And then I remember they played the beat and I started rapping. And by the end of that shit, everybody was like pulling me into the crowd, trying to like crowd surf me through like the bleachers and shit. And it was like, I basically took it from them like hating on me heavy to being like, "Yo, we fuck with that." So that evolution kind of led me be like, "Yo, I guess like the rock scene isn't like what I guess I want to do." Because I played drums for like 16 years, but I kind of did rap like behind that. I would rap sometimes, so people knew I could freestyle. And I was like, "Yo, I guess I'm all right. I'm nice with this rap. I'll just try to keep sticking with this." And over the years, I've just stuck with it, tried to put out music, record music, and started doing that. But I kind of fucked myself over when I was 18. I started selling dope and like getting involved with that scene of like everybody that rapped where I'm from sold dope. So I was like, in order to like buy equipment, that's what they were doing. And I was a runaway foster kid, so I legally couldn't get a job or else they'd turn me back into social services and shit like that. So I was like, I'm gonna sell dope and try to buy equipment. And I sold dope and bought a fucking Tascam 8-track recorder. And I bought myself a microphone. I bought myself a beat machine with the help of my other homie who was doing it. Like we were hustling together. We bought the equipment that we needed, and I started doing that like around 17, 18. And then I got caught when I was 18 selling dope. So I got caught with a quarter ounce on me, had just turned 18, hit with a felony right away, was facing like 12 years. Yeah, so it was crazy.
How'd you get caught?
So I basically, my homie was like, his girlfriend was going to do a drop and was like, "Go with me because he's cooking." He was like barbecuing that day. So I got in the car with her and I took my shit with me and was just going to serve for mine and then give him a cut or whatever I did. So I go with her, and I just think that the head that we picked up was basically like, I think 12 was already watching us in like the neighborhood that we were in. So it just seemed weird. Like we took her to a bar. She said she was trying to sell pills. She came back in the car. She's like, "I don't have no money. Can you just take me back to my house?" And as soon as we pulled up to that house, just swarmed by like a few. So I was like, "Yo, they must have already been watching us."
Yeah.
And me being, I always grew up like, I don't say no names. I ain't no rat. I take accountability for me. That's it. So they were like, "Who are these people?" I was like, "I don't know none of these people. I just got to rap." So I took the rap for the whole thing and ended up, that's why they're trying to hit me with like so much time right away. But I was 18, had nothing else on my record except like a misdemeanor shoplifting charge. I managed to stay out of trouble pretty well. And so they ended up getting that reduced to like 3 years suspended with like 3 years probation. But my first offer was fucked up. It was like 12 years with a 3-year probation tag on it. And I was like, I've never been in trouble before.
Yeah.
So, but
you
the hard part,
you being like a runaway foster kid, as you mentioned, how did the lawyer, did they appoint you one? How did that work out?
I got a public defender, so that was like also like a difficult situation. But she managed to like get me a good deal. I think the other part is too is like my dad has a bad record in this town, and my brother was a murderer from this town, so it's not easy to find out who I'm related to. So they throw the book at you, even if your family has some shit where I'm from. So it was like they were offering me 12 years, and that public defender was like, I've never seen this happen before. So like, I don't understand why they're trying to hit you so hard. And then we basically just put to have a record, and the judge seen that and was like, this is his first offense. We'll give him, we're not going to reduce it to a misdemeanor possession charge, but we'll give him a felony possession charge. So then, man, I think shortly after that, I think everybody has like a saving grace in life, or like basically something that looks like a life jacket to save you from a shitty situation. Mine was Christianity for a really long time.
Yeah.
Until I figured out, like, I just don't agree with the American church. I've seen a lot of weird fucking shit happen in that realm, and coming from the streets, there's just a lot of, like, I don't know. It's a whitewashed religion to me. I can't see it outside of anything like that because of what I've experienced inside of it. Now, other people might have other experiences, but mine is not a good one. So, like, I got myself out of that situation probably after, like, 6 years of doing it, but I did Christian rep. I went to a youth camp. I got my charge, and these homies that knew that I was a dope dealer wanted to be heroes, I guess, and were like, yo, you can go to this church camp for free. We know you just got in trouble. It might look good on you in court doing something like that, blah, blah, blah. So I go to this church camp, and I was trying to go holler at bitches and fuck around at this church camp. So I packed my bag with, like, some alcohol, had some weed with me, and was just was ready to go. I was like, I was 18, and I was like, yo, I'm just gonna wild out at this church camp. But something happened that I was like, yo, I would rather take this avenue and try to get myself, like, have something that looks good for my life. And like, I experienced something there, but my experience now, like, I look back on it, I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I kind of stayed on that path for a good 6 to 7 years of, like, being involved in church.
Maybe it just served its purpose, though.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. Yeah, I think it was something that definitely came at a time where I needed that, because I would have went back to trapping and would have just ended up seeing more time. So it was definitely a good thing. I don't deny that it's like something that wasn't good, but it's just that culture is not something I'm like fond of anymore.
Were you like 100% into it, like Jesus Christ?
Hardcore. Oh yeah, man! I would rap about Jesus. I would.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
Real quick, give us some Jesus bars.
I was gonna say I'm gonna get one. I need one bar.
This is the thing, though. I was nice with the Jesus raps, though. So like, I said, what's one of them that I got that I really like? I was like, geez. I sit back, fold hands, thank God for all he done. He put me on the program, took the folk out my road and lit my world up like the morning sun. Now Walter and Nathan, all the fear gone and courage replaced it. And it was just like more like, I can't even remember all those, but it was never like on some corny, like, now God knew the devil and they walked the street and like some like whack ass shit. Like, cause I grew up like on, before I started doing Christian hip hop, I was like on Jeezy and like some real like street shit. So I try to take that wordplay and apply it to like Christian rap, I guess.
I have to ask you, being out there. Sorry, Ray, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, so the name Martyr, did you come up with that from the whole Christian thing, or is that?
No,
like
my rap name was Proverbs when I was a Christian.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Martyr is actually me being post-Christian is dying to that belief of Christianity, willing to die to that. Because I still have a faith concept, I just don't rock with like modern Christianity in that sense. But yeah, it was Proverbs, and there was like 50 other Proverbs. It was like Proverbz, and there was like 50 other Christian Proverbs spelled like that. So I was like, yo, I gotta come up with a new rap name. And then I became Martyr Thompson because I had a friend who was an atheist that we used to have a lot of discussions about faith and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, you're my brother regardless, like of our differences and things like that. So I took his last name, and when I did the name change from Proverbs, I was still a Christian rapper. So it was like Martyr, dying to the beliefs of like, just, I guess, I don't know, Jesus was in a sense a martyr because he did not fit like the normal norm of what the people of that time thought he should be. And I was basically starting to branch out into those ideas of like, I started being a Christian rapper, but still would cuss in my music. I discovered like I was Afro-Latino, so I stopped being like afraid of like as much racial tension that I faced as being that in the church for saying like the N-word and things like that, and the flack that I'd gotten originally. I stopped caring about shit like that, and basically started to liberate myself from like the ideas that they were pushing upon me in developing my own faith, which led me to kind of a lot of church people being like, nah, we don't rock with that. And the culture of Christian hip hop was like, nah, we don't rock with Martyr Thompson because he does that, and kind of got cast out of that. So then I just started doing whatever music made sense to me. And then a lot of it was more reflective music in the more recent years. So I have like a trilogy. My first Christian release, like solid Christian release, was called Keeping It Together. And that's kind of where I was branching more less into Christian ideas of American Christianity and just general Christian faith in general. And the second album after that was Crucify Me, because a lot of people didn't like my first album. So I was like, well, kill me if you don't like what I'm saying, because it's still like the gospel message is still in there. And then my last album was The Glorious Resurrection of Martyr Thompson. So it's kind of bringing a close.
Yeah, you know what's always funny to me is that, and I feel like this is most religions, I don't want to just single out Christianity, but I feel like people that are religious are more judgmental than people who aren't.
I think most faiths have a cult foundation to them, is that people become so wrapped up in the what you're doing and what you're supposed to do than the actual basis of love and the moral values that it's teaching you.
No.
So yeah, I totally agree.
Well, think about it. No one ever started a war. No atheist ever really like started. Never mind. I'm gonna stop that because I'm pretty sure Hitler was an atheist. That might
He's a good old Christian boy.
Yeah. I was gonna say
he wasn't Jewish. He was not Jewish.
I was gonna say atheists usually don't start wars. Wars usually like start over a religious side. But then I think Hitler was an atheist, so that might not play over too well. I wanted to talk about you out there on the West Coast. Now over here, when you came out here for Team Backpack, did you notice a difference of the influences of the rappers maybe like out here? Just throw names out like Fab or
oh yeah, you see a lot of Big L out there. You see a lot of like the New York shit. Like people is more so like I'm from like I'm like middle of the map. I want to consider like I'm in Colorado, which is considered like Midwest, but like I fuck with both coasts. Like I grew up more so on like the storytelling of Tupac, but the lyricism of Biggie. So I was like always trapped in that like who's the better. I'm like I don't fucking know because I like both of them. But yeah, it was very different. Like culture wise, it's like there's definitely a niche like vibe out there that you don't get in other areas. You know, on the map. Been to Florida. I've seen a bunch of states, and New York is very unique in itself.
Right, and then you got some schlub like me walking up trying to be your friend with
Yo, I met this guy in the line, and then he ended up being in my group the next day too for the auditions.
I know.
But yeah, I was like, yo, where are you from? He's like, Jersey, and he had on a fucking hockey jersey in the fucking hot ass weather. I was like, yo, I respect that though because I got a fucking hoodie on in this 90-degree weather. Because I'm from Colorado, so I don't give a fuck if it's like 90 outside or fucking cold as fuck outside. I'll probably have a sweatshirt on because you don't know what's going to happen.
Without delving into it, because I don't want to talk bad about it, because, you know, I think Team Backpack does a lot of good for artists coming up, and I'm glad a guy like, at the end of the day, I'm very happy a guy like Ren Thomas won, because I think he like could spit, and it showed it wasn't all about bullshit and views. Like he literally got up there, tore it apart, and good for him. I'm glad he's a guy who actually won our Mission Underground. How did you feel about doing it? Was it everything you expected, or were you like, did you feel like I came out here and kind of didn't get the experience I did, or I thought I was gonna get? Oh no. He got shot by Team Backpack.
He's really thinking about it.
My bad.
No, it's fine.
My shit just went goofy, bro. But yo, yeah, I think when I went out there, I had a certain expectation of how it would be. I didn't expect to win. But like where I'm from is like I'm like a gauntlet MC. So like I feel like I was built for a competition like that. When I heard about the bar fights and all that, I was like, fucking bet. Because I just capitalize off like the fight type vibe when it comes to being an MC. I came up freestyle battling, which became very apparent in the ciphers, because if I wasn't, battling somebody, or if I wasn't just spitting some rhymes, I'm on a thing, Death. If I wasn't spitting some rhymes or something, I was battling somebody, and that started happening really quick. But yeah, I think Team Backpack already had an idea of what they were looking for and who they were looking at before the competition happened. That's not to say that it's like a setup or like that, like I don't want to call it something that it isn't, but as myself running shows and doing promotions and things like that, you have an idea of how you want things to go before you even put an event together. You know who you're looking at artist-wise. I get a lot of artists that are like, yo, I've been trying to perform for a minute. And I'm like, yeah, come out and perform, but I ain't going to put you like at, 10:30 when the bar is full. That way the bar leaves because, somebody that's not that great goes on. So at the same time, like where I feel like they were looking at people ahead of time, I can't really hate on it. And it became apparent who those people were pretty early on too. Is like you've seen these guys not being in a lot of ciphers and weren't really good in the ciphers, and then going on stage and making like the top 10. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like I smoked that homie in a battle yesterday, like embarrassed him to where he left, like type shit. And then you see them end up in the top 10 and you're just like, nah. So I had some feelings about it, but at the same time, I'm like, business is business. I don't ever take nothing fucking personal, because like I'm gonna invest in myself regardless. Like even this time around, like they asked me to do their live stream recently, and I did that, and that was pretty cool because I was just like, I've been waiting to get that opportunity for a long time. So like I never put too much stock in it. Like, yo, Team Backpack wants me to be one of their artists, and like I just take things with a grain of salt, because I feel like a lot of people get their hopes up and then have high expectations of how things will turn out, and then it doesn't turn out the way they want to, and then they want to fucking quit because of their expectations of how something went.
I noticed that being there too. Like I went there too, not expect. It is what it is. I went there for the experience. I had a great time. I think one of the best things was us outside just like ragging on each other. That to this day was one of the best times I ever had rapping in my life. Just like 8 of us fucking getting on each other. They are on YouTube too somewhere. Like somewhere, like it's us just bullshitting with each other. But I get what you're saying, because when they announced the 10 or how many they announced, you saw people really upset about it. And I remember sitting there with like a gin and tonic, and I was like, oh, all right, whatever. Like,
bro,
what's up?
Do you remember Murky Creeks?
I don't. I remember Marlon Craft was there. I remember Ren Thomas was there. Like those were the 2 big names, Marlon Craft and Ren, and Cassidy performed at the end, I think.
Yo, so there's this guy that I met named Murky Creeks. Fuck you, pussy. I hope you see this video.
I was gonna say that's an awesome name.
Yeah.
Tag him.
He's a big ass crybaby, dog. So he honestly was like almost in tears that he didn't win. And I was like, bro, there's 1,000 fucking people.
Yeah.
Here. So expecting like that high of an expectation that like you're the fucking cream of the crop, what they're looking for, like I respect that shit, but like it's a little bit unrealistic at the end of the day. And I remember seeing him like in his feelings, like almost like he wanted to cry. And I see people do that, and I'm just like, yo, like I could see like if you made the top 10 and didn't win, being in your feelings about it. But like if you like, I mainly went for like the connects that I made, man. I got a song with Toxic after that event. I kept in close contact with Dev, and still, he's shot me some opportunities. He's no longer with Team Backpack or with World MC, whatever they're doing now. But like he still showed me love and shot me opportunities. I saw Lurcham's got like pretty far in Arsenal's Instagram freestyle and shit, man. Arsenal posted like a contest, and Lurcham's made like the final 2 like twice in a row. So he's still doing it. Yeah, he say the N-word yet, though?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Eric, do you have any?
I'm just giving Lurch some shit. He's my guy, but I just give him shit all the time.
Following that, no, I don't have anything to say.
Oh, sorry, but I didn't want to hog it. Sorry.
With those types of events, you got to kind of keep in mind that, like, these companies, even though, you know, if there is someone that absolutely stands like feet above everyone else that they didn't plan on, they got to go with that person, you know. But for the most part, this thing is a business, and they're looking to make an investment in another business, which in turn is a person. So they're trying to find someone who's already got some sort of social media following. Maybe you've sold some albums, you know, you've got a good internet presence and everything like that. So it's like, when you go into that, if you kind of have that mindset, then it's not as disappointing when you don't get picked, because then it's like, well, you know, my Instagram isn't really blowing up. I don't have many songs on Spotify or whatever it is. Like, so I can see, like, if I was a business, I wouldn't look at another business like, wait, you guys only make $10 a month and you want $1 million? I don't know about all that.
Yo, I'll tell you who put me on game too is Token. I met him before the event, and him and his brother was cool as hell. He was probably like the least, I would say, arrogant, or like, because like I was kicking it heavy with Obvi and Toxic while I was out there, and those dudes are pretty cool guys. Like, there was no like celebrity to them. And Token was the same way. Like, in a lot of those fucking kids that were out there that were like ages like 15 to like 19 that were auditioning were on his nutsack when he got out there. But he was just like, yo, man, like, people gotta know. He's like, you don't go to a job interview with no job experience, you know, in that field, and being like, oh, well, why the fuck did I not get the job? He's like, they want to see that you're an MC and that you're about the shit, that you're rapping all the time, that you have a following doing it, that you make music. He's like, because why do they want to give that job to somebody? He goes, now, granted, there might be one dude out there who has like the total package and isn't shit yet, and they might catch on to that. And there was a few people that, you know, were given some opportunities that were, you know, like my homegirl, like Gritty, she got picked and made the top 10, and she didn't really have like a huge following before that. She had maybe like around the same that I did. And when I went to Team Backpack, I would say I had like between like a 500 to 700 person following. But that did definitely motivate me to, I seen people with business cards and shit like that out there, and I kind of got onto the marketing game and was like, yo, like, these dudes are like basically trying to build a collective group where you could build organically by just doing shows locally, you know, and telling people who you are and having you follow and build your local following, so that when you do go to a place like that, man, you got a couple thousand followers, you got a couple hundred views on like your videos and the things that you're working on, so that they're going to look at demographic too. Team Backpack, well, World MC now, they basically follow like the American Idol model. They want to know that you have a marketable talent before they give you a platform, you know. So those people that they do the auditions with have already been auditioned 4 or 5 times before they even get to you know, Lionel Richie and Katy Perry and Blake Shelton. Like, they're going through it.
That shit's even worse on like American Idol and The Voice and all that bullshit, because they literally have writers that are making up fucking stories for these people, because they come in, they're talented, they've already been doing this for years and years, and this is, but like,
you don't have like some crazy story to reel them in with.
Yeah, exactly, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and like, nobody's gonna watch if some girl comes on and she's like, you know, I grew up with the perfect family and the perfect life and I had no problems ever. I just really well. You'd be like, yo, this bitch is boring, right? Yeah. But if she grew up and her fucking brother's a meth addict and her dad abandoned the family when she was 7, and fucking, I don't know, they have like a donkey that they ride instead of driving a car or some shit.
There's a big cut to a scene.
It sounds crazy, but that's the shit that they make up.
Yeah.
That's a funny story, because we'll sit here and laugh at it and be like, can you believe this bitch rode a donkey?
Yeah, well, it's just like how like on NFL Sundays, they used to just have the games at 1 o'clock East Coast time, But now they start at like 10 a.m. and they're talking about every player, and it's like,
Politics,
yeah, my
and all
dad
this
died when
motherfucking
I was
bullshit,
8,
too.
and they're like, oh, I love Richard Sherman now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's now girls. They're saying because women relate to that, and it makes them want to watch football. So now they're doubling viewers.
I'm
One-
glad I'm
I
glad
don't
you
want
said.
girls watching football with me, dog. I'd rather watch football by myself. She can watch it on her own. I don't play that. I just can't watch football with a girl.
I don't
get pissed off.
advocate this message at all. I'm staying away from that one. I love
Yo,
female
wifey.
football.
You be watching
God
with
loves
wifey,
explaining
bro.
the rules over and over again.
Yeah. Hey,
Why do they
I'm
do
happy.
it?
I'm happy you said Toko is a nice guy though, because he came in the game real young, man. So like, it's good that he got humbled, and I've reached out to him numerous times. He hasn't gotten back to me, but I know he's real busy. But Token, if you ever see this, come on the
Yeah.
show. Seriously.
Token, you the man, dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably. I honestly don't listen to a lot of mainstream hip hop these days. I listen to people I like the caliber of MC that they are. That's mostly what I pay attention to.
Yeah.
And then now I do R&B, so I listen to a lot of R&B and mostly underground shit. But so like, yeah, Token, I bump pretty frequently, and I usually don't like. I don't know. I kind of thought you get like that. His name, he's like the token white guy in hip hop. Is like that's what he claims, you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes that could come off cornballish because like you get like the Macklemore vibes or something from that. Not saying Macklemore isn't a talented rapper either, but you get like that whole people basically clue it in with that. So I'm always like, I just didn't know what to think of him. I seen him at Team Backpack and I was like, yo, he's a rapper, but he probably does like this kid like super multi-syllabic shit, which he does, but like the content is actually pretty dope, and like I like the content that he's making now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen to so much underground shit that it's like you mentioned like the mainstream artists, and I'm like, well, what are they doing lately? They just put out an album. I don't know, because I'm not really paying attention to the mainstream like that, you know. But I do fuck heavy with like the underground, like Freddie Gibbs, like, you know, and like those guys, like like Griselda and just that type of shit. Boldy James, he's fucking dope. Like I really like that shit right now.
It also, too, the older you get, I'm sure you're like us, man. You just have less time to like keep up with who's coming out, so it's tough. Like there's some, like, let's say like Apathy or someone who we grew up listening to like, releases a song, and it's like I may not get to that song for 3 weeks. And it's not like a knock on it. It's just like and I do have the time to sit and listen to 3 minute song, but it's like there's just so much stuff going on. It's like oh shit, no, I haven't listened.
What if it's a Logic song?
I'm probably not opening it, but that's beside the point. Anyway,
that fool is garbage.
I don't want to turn. Yeah, I don't want to turn this into a lot of
Potential guest.
Yeah, but with Token, see, the thing, I hate to harp on him, but you said you met him and he was a nice dude. Now you in turn are going to listen to him. I think that has a lot to do with it. Like if he was an asshole and you met him, you probably would never go back to his shit. You'd be like, fuck this guy. But like, it kind of like opens up your eyes. Like, all right, this kid's nice. I want to support him. Whereas we had someone on probably in April, the interview never got aired, and we interviewed him, and we grew up listening to him, and he was just like extremely dismissive, and to this day I can't listen to his music. I can't go back and listen to it. I'll tell you who it is off the
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't have to tell me about that shit. This sounds interesting as fuck.
Yeah, but it's
that honestly is definitely that's a major letdown when you get really into an artist and then you meet them, or like you hear about something that they did that you're like, yo, that's some fuck shit. Like, or like, and I'm honestly the type, I'm not a big dude, but when I feel disrespected, I'm more than likely going to say something in that fucking moment and be like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? Like, I just don't take lightly to respect no matter who the fuck you are. So, like, I get being a famous person, like, but these fools that show up to no fucking Team Backpack shit aren't fucking mobbing in with security. So if you were like, yo, you got to wait to talk to me and be like, suck my dick. Like, I'm not going to wait. You're not talking to anybody. I was just trying to say what's up. And that's just the mentality I had with shit.
No, I wasn't there the third day though. When I had other shit going on, so I couldn't make it when like the big performers performed. Don't say names, but was there anyone there you met and you were just like, this guy's a fucking douche?
Scott Gambino.
Yeah,
Well,
me.
I'd say who it is, but it was Cassidy.
Yeah.
Cassidy's a fucking douchebag, bro. Like, I just
I know.
said, "What up?"
Perfect.
I said, "What up, Cass?" As he walked by, and they're like, there's not a lot of people with him. He had like 2 or 3 security guards, and he's walking like through that rock part back to the back way.
Yeah.
And I was like walking, and I was just like, "What up, Cass?" Nothing. "What up, Cass?" Nothing.
Jeez.
"Yo, Cassidy, what's up? The hustler, what's up?" And the security turned around and he goes, "He ain't fucking saying anything. Why are you still saying something?"
Jesus.
I said,
Awesome.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Well, fuck him then." And then they went backstage, and he went on stage and killed it. And I kind of was still like, "Yo, he's killing shit right now, but fuck this fool." Like, I was just trying to say what up. But at the same time, I was just like, he was kind of a douchebag. And like, now I got a homie. Disaster is the homie.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know. I usually like if a homie's got, and like, I'm not saying me and Disaster are super close homies, but that's the homie. Shout out Diz. But after their whole battle, it just gave me more of a reason to hate Cassidy. So ever since then, I've been like, yeah, fuck Cassidy. He didn't say what's up when I seen him. But it was like from
Yeah,
like
that was rough.
me to like 2 feet away. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what up, man? As he's passing by, and he's just straightforward. Nobody's in front of him. There's not like a crowd like, oh my God, give me an autograph. So I was just like, yeah, whatever then, dog. It's cool.
And you know what the crazy thing is with that too? It's not even like he's like a superstar. It's not even like he's completely like relevant now. Not to say that
You seen him in battle rap?
No, but I'm just saying, not to say that he doesn't have like hits and shit like that. But
He's the same way. He's the same way in battle rap. He thinks his shit don't stink, and they all make fun of him. He's like, "Oh, I'm the GOAT," and they all fucking laugh at him. They're like, "You ain't done shit for battle rap." Like, he's battled some bigger names now, but he tries to act like he's like head honcho of this shit, and everybody makes fun of him for that shit. And it makes for a good battle because it's just like, yo, is this motherfucker delusional? Like, it's
I can't get behind bad mouthing Cassidy. I like Cassidy, but I haven't met him.
Scott's a businessman.
I've reached out to
Cassidy, please feel free to come on and defend yourself.
This is why Cassidy is smart though, because that battle where he battled Disaster, he was losing in the building. And I think that his people did whatever it took to get that fucking event shut down, so that he had to battle him in some fucking random parking garage, kill the whole vibe. And that day later, you got a different breed of Cassidy in that fucking basement. He went the fuck off. That's a 3-0 easy. And I say because those first 2 rounds that Diz got off, he wasn't able to spit those again. Those were sick-ass rounds that he got off in that live show, the first and second. So Cassidy was able to go, he spit 1.5 rounds, go back, use the rest of his material, and then perform it in a format that he'd be more comfortable with. Genius. I think that's what happened.
That was the one where like they couldn't get it done because they like people wouldn't get off the stage, right?
Yeah.
Like that was that one or some shit.
Yeah.
You know who people wouldn't get off the stage?
Yeah.
Cassidy's people wouldn't get off the stage. So they called the fire department, and then they had to shut down the event.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Hey,
man.
bro, a win is a win. You got to get a win how you can get a win.
Now,
and on that platform,
Scott knows all about that.
We'll get to that later. They say I cheat. They say I cheat in our gun to your head segment, so we'll get to that later on. What was it like rapping for Fat Joe? Like when you did that?
Oh man, yo. So being Puerto Rican, I grew up on Pun and Joe and like the Terror Squad. So like, I remember having like those albums as a kid, having like Jealous One's Envy and like these old ass albums, and like being. I didn't know actually. So this is another funny story. I honestly didn't know I was Puerto Rican until probably about 2 years ago when I did Ancestry.com. Because where I'm from, if you're Latino, you get just generalized as Mexican. It's pretty funny. But my dad is of like, he's of Mexican, like native Mexican, and the tribe that he came from got mixed in with like African slaves and Dominican slaves. So he comes from a very mixed region in Mexico. And my mom is Mexican and Puerto Rican.
Nice.
So when I found that out too, I was like, I already grew up on Fat Joe and Pun, and now that know that I am Puerto Rican. Shout out Ancestry.com.
Martyr's like, now I could say any word I want.
I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, I did.
No, but
I
yo-
got 23 and me, and I can't say many words.
Doing that though, like growing up Mexican, my older brother's black too. So like I already had mixed family. I grew up saying it, but it was just something that I was just like, it gave me less of a reason to feel guilty, I guess. Growing up where I grew up, there's still racial tension here too. But like meeting him, it was totally, at the time I was at home and I was like, there ain't no way Fat Joe's going to answer this on his Instagram live, but I'm going to keep trying. I was just in the mood that day, feeling lucky. So I kept hitting the slot machine button and just was like, yo, hopefully he accepts this. Waiting and waiting after I pressed it, and then I'd leave it, go back in. And I probably should have just waited, but I think doing it this way helped. I just leave the live, go back in, and then hit request again. And then I was sitting in my room watching the live, not really expecting it. And he was still talking to somebody, but it started spinning saying, Fat Joe wants to add you to his live. Do you accept it? I was like, yo, what the fuck? Of course I do. Boom, I hit accept. And then it was just him. And he's like, yo, what up? And I was like, yo, what's up? I was definitely starstruck. And I honestly just wanted to rap. That's always what I'm going to want to do is rap. Right. If I get to meet my favorite MC, I'm going to be that annoying ass dude that's like, yo, let me rap for you. Like, I'm just going to do it because that's what I want to do. And he let me rap, man, on his Instagram. I think there was a couple thousand people watching it when I got on there. And I got a good 300 or 400 followers after that. So it went up. Yeah, so it was a cool opportunity, man. And like a lot of people too is like, Joe hit me. He like responded to my messages after and stuff too. Him and a few other artists that I really like a lot, like do like side hustles where they do like hip hop promotions and stuff like that. You know, so they're like selling mixtape slots or they're doing like the pay to have like a video chat with them type shit. So getting an opportunity to do that on the free was definitely something that I was mad appreciative of because I'm willing to invest in myself like that. But at the same time, I can't really afford it all the time. Yeah. So getting something like that for free was definitely dope. And yeah, man, it's still a trip looking back and be like, yo, I got to rap Fat Joe.
That's like really cool because that's how I feel about talking to some of the people we've talked to. Whether it's Nino or Ilmac, like, you know, you leave it saying like, you know, looking back on it, these are dudes we grew up listening to. So you could almost not to say like you've hit the peak, but if all doesn't work out, you could always look back and be like, you know what, like I at least did this, I at least got in contact with this, and there's no regrets, you know. So it's really cool.
Not a lot of people get to say that. That's cool.
Yeah, if I died tomorrow, I feel like as an artist, I feel fulfilled. Like I feel
well, let's let this episode get out first. I mean, you want to watch this, so I mean,
or it was his final episode, Martyr.
Yeah. Let's get it.
When you grew up, you said you were doing drumming, and obviously you got into Pac and Biggie, but you were into rock. Who were the other influences? Like I seen the Nirvana poster. Was it like Slipknot, Corey Taylor, Korn? Like who were the big ones?
So I the first way I got on to like really wanting to do rock was Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
My brother-in-law, he's like lived out in California, so he was into a lot of the punk music out there, and I liked some of it, but I didn't really care who the artists were. But when I heard Rage Against the Machine, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And God, Evil Empire, fire ass album. So like anything that had kind of like hip hop influence inside of it at first, like Linkin Park, Slipknot, definitely. Like, man, there was a lot. POD. There was just a lot of bands that like had hip hop influence, and that's more so what I was into. And then I got more into the technical part of drumming, so like metal and blast beats and things like that kind of became something that I started listening to. More so for the drumming, I like lyrics I could understand, so like having to read metal lyrics to understand the screaming was a bit much. I mean, I still liked a lot of it. Like one of my favorite bands was this band Under Oath that I used to listen to a lot. I still do. Like I have like their tattoo of like their logo and shit. So like even like with the music shit and things like that, like it's not just all hip hop for me. So like, but it was mainly like if it had some kind of hip hop influence, is what I first got put onto. So yeah, like
So it was like,
was
yeah, it was like the rap rock shit, like the like Limp Bizkit type stuff, if you will.
Yeah, you know.
No
And
Creed. What about
Bizkit.
Creed? What about Creed? No, no.
Yo, if I listened to Creed, it's because I was watching wrestling, and they had like for a pay-per-view event, like Creed's song was like the theme song of the pay-per-view. That's the only way I'm playing that shit.
So, all right, what else do you have coming out now? I know you did the World MC thing, so I know you're working on another album. What else you got doing?
I'm working on a project, a joint project with my homie Ryan. He spells it RVXN. We're doing like a kind of like a combo project of like some hip hop, R&B type stuff. Still a lot of rapping on it, but kind of stepping out of like the normal MC genre type of like just kind of doing like the rapidy rap shit, but trying to put more of a story behind it and do something like that. And I'm in the process of trying to secure the bag for a Jadakiss feature. So wish me luck.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually reached out to me through like one of those campaigns where I had been submitting my music on Facebook to one of his judging systems, and they kept being like, yo, pay to submit. And I was like, fuck y'all, I ain't paying nothing, but I'll keep submitting because I just don't want to pay $30 to get a SoundCloud link clicked when I got thousands of like, or like a couple hundred regular listeners. It turns into a couple thousand plays in a couple days. So I'm not worried about, you know, you're making my SoundCloud link blow up. I want something that's going to last. I was like, you know, so I kept submitting. And finally one day he messaged me on Instagram. And I was like, yo, I've seen how this goes. I don't know if this is automated or not. And then he sent me a link to this other video, and he's like, yo, this is Jadakiss. This isn't bullshit. Like, this is me messaging. I was like, yo, if that's the case, here's my number. Hit my line. We can talk business. I got a call. And was a trip because when you hear somebody that you've listened to, so God, I've been listening to Jadakiss since the locks, bro. Like, old mixtapes and, like, been a Jada fan heavy. Like, yeah, that to me is top 5 dead or alive, period. Like, Jada's in my top 5. And to get a phone call and hear that raspy ass fucking voice and be like, yes, yeah, and to hear all that shit.
Was he like,
yeah, I was gonna say.
I was hoping for that shit that he would just like put icing on the cake with it. But he was just like, yo, what's good, man? Like, what are you going through? Like, what are you trying to do with your career? What are your goals? What's your life like? And kind of told him what I'm going through with like my ex and things like that, and being a father, having a baby on the way, and wanting to do music as a full-time career and tour and things like that. And he's just like, the game's different. Touring's on hold. We're not really doing things like that. So this is what the hustle that we're doing is giving you an opportunity to be on these mixtapes. But with those mixtapes, it's really just a lot of rappers listening to those mixtapes because they're on it.
Yes.
So it basically creates a stream revenue based off of everybody listening to it, and then getting their fan base to listen to it.
It's like a coast to coast. It's a coast to coast mixtape type thing, pretty much.
Which is cool, but I don't fuck with it. That's not how I move. Like, I'm gonna try to push as much as I can to be heard.
Exactly.
And it was just like, yo, I was like, cool. I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in figuring out how much it's going to cost to get you on a feature. And he was like, well, that's usually 5 G's. I was like, well, I understand, you know, cool. It's been an honor talking to you, this and that. And I was just like, if I ever get that kind of money, you'll hear from me. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll see if I could talk my price down to $1,500. I was like, if you could talk it down to $500, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
But $1,500
is Jadakiss. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story
hustle,
as it is.
bro.
yeah,
I gotta hustle, man, and that's in my budget. Like, I could do 500 because I got engineers that would be willing to put up money to have their name attached to something like that. A homie that raps is willing to put up money. So it works. We all work together, and I don't work with people that I think are whack. So it's all talented artists that would be getting some kind of notoriety from it. Like, yo, we worked with Jadakiss, and he kind of laughed it off, but was just like, yeah, you know, like, if I could do that, I'd be giving out features left and right. Like, but he goes, this is a business, and I got kids to feed. I got a company. He's telling me about his juice company. like doing the juice and stuff out in New York, and like I guess them guys is big on that right now. It's like they
Yeah.
Is it called
juicing.
Jada Juice?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. I really don't. That'd be
We have
crazy
a
if
couple
it's called
of them.
Jada Juice.
Him and Styles, they have a bunch of them.
I like
Yeah,
Jada
yeah,
Juice.
But you got to look at it this way, man. At one point, he probably in some degree respects you trying to, negotiate, because at one point they were you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Oh yeah.
it's kind of
That's not
like a
like-
respect thing.
Yeah, I charge for a feature. I'm not like, and I don't charge that much. I
Yeah.
charge $70 for a feature because I got local artists that see how I have an organic push and they want in on that. Now, the promotion part is up to them. Like, you want me to promote, then you better pay me a little bit more to promote. I get the game. And when I picked that up, I used to hate that shit. But when it
Right.
comes to like, I don't like people that charge for people to perform. I feel like performance, you want to scout good talent and have a good night of performers set up, as opposed to, yo, I'm a paid performer and I'm trash. Let me open up for Tech Nine in Colorado Springs. People got a monopoly on that. That's cool. That's not what I want to do. So I make sure that the artist that I work with is somebody I would do a song with. If
Right.
they're going to want me to do a song with them, I'd still, if I don't know who they are and if they don't have like a buzz, I'm probably going to charge them, because I got bills to pay too, and it's just the business aspect of it. But that doesn't mean that person's like, yo, can you give me some studio time? And I'm be like, yeah, here's some studio time, pay me, and then I'll pay the studio, and then I take a cut of that person's money and do some gaffling shit like that, because I want people to have opportunities. So my resources I always make available to people, whether or not like I'm charging them for the services. Like, I got friends who have studios, and I always tell my friends, like, are these dudes that are locals, like, you could record here for a really good price.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like boost up the rates and give them something that, I'm not getting. And I try to connect artists. But yeah, it's a business. You still gotta, how am I gonna pay for beats? Like, if I can't make that
Right.
money come back from music, you want to have a sustainable thing. You don't just want to let the well run dry. So,
But it's also when you get to know people and you like them, you want to help them. Like, I know, and you want to put people on and try to get them noticed. Like, when I met you
Yeah.
out there, I came back and my boy Sal, the one kid Sal D makes beats. I hooked you guys up. I think you rapped on one of his beats. You've been on contact. So
yeah,
like, it's just, getting the connections out there, which is good that you do. And the older you get, I'm sure you like this in your hometown. Like, you follow the young kids trying to do it, if not,
Yep.
and like, you kind of want them to succeed, and you want to like be like, hey, this is what you shouldn't do because I failed at it. Like, this is
Yeah.
what you need to do differently, or what we should have done. Because we grew up in a weird time in music, man. It was the MySpace era and shit like that, and it was kind of, you didn't know whether or not to put videos on YouTube because it wasn't popular, but at the same time you should have. It's a weird mind fuck.
yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people can get insecure about like taking that step to actually, do videos and stuff. But yeah, like you were saying, I want to see the local artists succeed. And that's not saying that all my features are charged. Like, if I believe in somebody, I'll cut deals and just be like, yo, send me the beat, I'll send you a verse back, because I fuck with that person's music before they ever reached out to me. So, and that's not to say like, it's a tricky game, because some people will get offended and be like, oh, you didn't charge them, but you charged me. And that's usually why it's none of those people's business who I charged and didn't charge,
Yeah.
And I try to think of it in the context of like, if I get opportunity, I get opportunity. I'm thankful for it, but I ain't going and telling everybody like, yo, this person gave me this deal. Like, say Jadakiss did tell me, yo, I gave you that feature, like, gives me a feature for $500. I probably won't tell anybody that I got it for $500.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt his business reputation and people start having a low expectation of him, which is the same reason why if like I did a feature for free for somebody and then some other artist emails me and it's like, yo, homeboy said you did a feature for free, I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know who you are. So we could talk business and then something else. But like, or if I like, we could meet. I always offer meeting, and that's just to say is like, even as a lower level artist, you guys gotta take what you do serious, because if you want to do it for a living, how are you gonna do it for a living if you have no foundation for doing it for a living? You gotta have your shit on distribution. You gotta, if you start making regular money, start an LLC so that the government don't come and try to collect from you, collecting free money. You get audited and some weird shit. Like, you never know when shit could blow up, so you want to have, you know, all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and like do all that shit, because it'll be beneficial to you in the long run.
Thanks, man. Final round table before we get to our gun to your head with you, Martyr. By the way, this was honestly, I gotta say, this was an awesome fucking interview. Like, seriously, man, it was.
I appreciate it, man.
Telling and
I've been waiting to do it, man. I've just been like, you know, like I said, I had to get my mental health straight. I was not in a good place, and I probably would have been one of those dudes that got on your live stream and you're like, why was he being such an asshole to us? Like, because I just wasn't mentally like there, like for being, you know, talking. And like this is my normal personality, and I wasn't myself probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So
no, that's fine, man. Appreciate it, man. Eric, anything final before we get to it?
Say, appreciate how open you were with everything, especially like your earlier days and everything. That's cool. Not a lot of people are that transparent. It's good.
Right?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you haggled Jadakiss.
Yo, I was waiting there like aha at the end of it or some shit, but nothing.
When you were about to hang up, you should have been like, "Come on, man, not even one."
Yo, no, I was like, I think I said Rough Rider out when I hung up.
Oh no! Oh
no! Stop! Drop! Shut him down, dog. Look at this tattoo on my arm. How are you gonna see that? Yeah. I got a homeboy that passed away. We all wanted the Rough Rider R's. We were big Rough Rider fans. So when he passed away, I was like, well, his initials have the R in it, so I got 2 with 1 stone. So I got the Rough Riders R with my homeboy's initials.
Bro, I met a Rough Rider at an airport in Kansas.
Who, Dragon?
No, it was some like Lola, like a motorcycle dude. He was a really cool dude. I forget his name. It was like Rude Boy Shada was his name, and he was so cool. Like, he had his Rough Rider jacket on. Me and my wife and him were just like chilling at the bar drinking because our flight was delayed. He was a really nice dude, and I was like, "Can I wear your jacket?" And that was very cool. He was like, I can't allow that. That was it. I was like, can I take a picture of a Rough Rider jacket? And he goes, absolutely not. And I was like, that was worth a fucking shot. No, but he was a really cool guy. All right, Martyr, are you familiar with our gun to your head segment or no?
Not at all, my guy.
Okay, so we do like a would you rather type thing, but we like to think it's a little more clever. It's called Gun to Your Head segment. We keep standings. So we ask you 5 questions each. You have to answer them, and you at the end pick the winner of who you think asked the best questions. Okay? I hate to put some pressure on you here, but I'm running on a 3-peat right now. All right? So I've won the last 3 versus who did I win? Oh, Jess Margera, Diabolic, and Ilmac. I swept the 3. So they're itching right now. They've been working on these. I'm kind of like in the weeds. I don't really mind. You can't win them all. So I go last since I won. What?
I'm in the weeds. You know, I don't mind if I don't win, but if I win, I'm going to celebrate.
It'd be history. It'd be TruExact radio history if we have a 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So Brian, since you came in second last time, Eric, you weren't here for the Ilmac one, so you go first. All right.
I'm nervous. All right.
Pressure on you here, Martyr.
Okay. Try to remember the earlier guys too, because Scott always wins because they remember the last one. But anyway, would you rather be Paris Hilton for a year or be able to stay at any Hilton for free whenever you'd like for the rest of your life?
God damn, I'll take the second option, man. I don't want to be fucking Paris Hilton.
Yeah, shit. Smart man.
That's a fucking hot dog in a hallway situation.
You have to give up one forever. Hair conditioner or an air conditioner?
It's going.
Oh, I'm giving up that hair conditioner, dog. I might go bald. Fuck that hair conditioner.
Okay. Would you rather get stood up or turned down?
Damn, those both fucking suck. I'd rather get turned down.
Okay.
I'll be pissed if a bitch stood me up.
Would you rather play Super Mario Party or go to a soup party with a guy named Mario?
I'd rather go to a soup party with a guy named Mario. Yo, see, I don't have a suit though, but I'd rather go to the soup party.
Oh no.
Due to COVID-19, would you rather never shake someone's hand again or have uncontrollably shaky hands forever?
No, I'd rather never shake someone's hand. My dad, and this is fucked up so that you got the question. My dad has something called a familial tremor, and he shakes all the time. So he, like, can't, like, do a lot of things.
Way to go, Eric.
Well, he'll remember it for the finals.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'd rather fucking not shake someone's hand.
Okay, great answers. Great answers. Okay, go ahead.
All right. First one. Would you rather play Dennis Rodman one-on-one or play with a man named Dennis's Rod one-on-one?
Damn
Uh,
Dennis Rodman one-on-one?
Who would pick the latter?
Yeah, I'd rather play with a dude's rod, honestly. I'm bad at basketball.
Would you rather permanently delete your Facebook or curate a book of faces?
Damn, I'd rather delete my Facebook, I guess. I don't know. Damn, these are fucked up ones.
Would you rather have to run away from Bigfoot or fight a guy using only a big foot?
God damn it.
Yo, I'd rather fight the guy with the big foot, bro. I'm gonna kick his ass with that foot. Yeah.
All right. What's better, AC Slater or DC Comics?
Yo, so funny, another story. Okay, my cousin Stacy, or no, was it my cousin Leanna? She dated Mario Lopez.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So she's married into the Sinatra family now, like the actual Frank Sinatra's descendant family she's married into. So her name is Leanna Sinatra. So I'd rather be, what was the other option besides AC Slater? DC Comics. Yeah, I'll take DC Comics.
That's so crazy. All right, last one. Would you rather carry a Stretch Armstrong doll everywhere you go or have a strong man stretch your arms?
Is it platonic? Because I ain't into no weird shit, dog. I mean, if my shoulders hurt, I'm like, I could use a good shoulder stretch.
There's no stipulations on this.
I'm gonna go with the big man stretch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't own anything after the stretch.
That's a tough one. All right.
Yeah, no homo though.
Shit. All right. I'm trying to four-peat here, but it's gonna be tough. Would you rather listen to Coldplay or go play in the cold?
I'd probably rather listen to Coldplay, man.
All right. Fight the entire Colorado Avalanche or get caught in a Colorado Avalanche?
I'd rather fight the Avalanche, the Colorado, like the actual team players.
Have no personal space or have no space bar on your computer keyboard?
So weird.
I'd rather have no space bar, man. I like my personal space.
All right. Work for Poland Spring or work in Poland for the spring?
Do I get? I can't put stipulations, but I like the water, so. I don't know. Polish bitches are bad though.
I like water.
I like water though.
I like water and Polish bitches.
I'll go with the being polar for the spring, man. Poland for the
All right,
spring.
last one. Would you rather shop at Banana Republic or eat bananas in public?
There's so many more you could have done with that.
Yeah.
So much.
I'd rather eat the banana in public, but here's what I don't eat a banana normal. I'm one of those like super conscious guys that like I break the piece off. I break a piece off and just throw it into my mouth.
Right. All right, bro. That's it. You got to pick a winner. Was it me who went last, Brian who went second, or Eric who went first?
Remember the hands.
All right, I'm gonna tell you, and this isn't even hating on you, TruExact, but you're out of the running already.
What?
So
my second.
It's between
the
Brian.
mighty have fallen.
You know what?
and
That's fair.
Eric.
You know, all it proves is that my show isn't a setup, and there's equal opportunity for everyone.
Okay,
Fine.
all right.
That's fine.
So check it. So I was going off of. I was actually counting in my head how many questions were good, and the Bigfoot or beat a man with a big foot fire question. the AC Slater DC Comics fire question, and then you had another one I'm trying to remember that was good. But Eric did not have one bad question.
Wow! I would have went the like that is the biggest. I'll say Brian has felt shafted in the last 2 or 3. Eric, congratulations!
He got it. He won.
Hey, you know what? It's personal opinion. That's why we love it. Congratulations, Eric. His standings will pop up in a second.
I got you, bro.
Yeah. Catch Martyr Thompson stuff. Martyr, plug your stuff before we end the show.
Yo, you can follow me on anything at Martyr is Dead. That's MARTYR. And then Is Dead. You can find me on Spotify. I got a project right now that I'm working on with my homeboy Ryan. We got a couple tracks doing really well on SoundCloud. Our project coming out is called A Hard Place. We got a cover of R&B singer Mahalia. Her song Plastic Plants is on there. And then we just put out a new R&B joint called The Difference. Both, man, in like a week combined, we already are almost at like 10K plays for the two. So things are doing good on those. Yeah, man, I just follow me on anything at Martyr is Dead and say what's up. I'm a normal guy. I respond to all my messages. I like to work with people on music. I produce, make beats, sing. So if you need anything, I do graphic art. Get at me.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for coming on.
That was awesome.
But